36 days before Election Day, Donald Trump finds himself addressing a new controversy, this time over his taxes. Right now, the Republican nominee is addressing a crowd in Pueblo, Colorado. Moments ago, he responded to a New York Times report that alleges he might have legally avoided paying any federal income tax for 18 years.
The unfairness of the tax laws is unbelievable. It's something I've been talking about for a long time, despite, frankly, being a big beneficiary of the laws. But I'm working for you now. I'm not working for Trump. As a businessman and real estate developer, I have legally used the tax laws to my benefit and to the benefit of my company, my investors, and my employees. I mean, honestly, I have brilliantly used those laws.
His opponent, of course, pounced on the New York Times report.
Trump represents the same rigged system that he claims he's going to change, taking from America with both hands and leaving the rest of us with the bill. What kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year? This is Trump to a T. He abuses his power, games the system, puts his own interests ahead of the country's. It's Trump first and everyone else last.
The Trump team sees the story as a huge positive for the candidate.
The reality is he's a genius. What he did was he took advantage of something that could save his enterprise, and he did something we admire in America. He came back. The art of the deal is all about that. He talks about it. So did Steve Jobs. So did Winston Churchill. I'd rather have a genius like Donald Trump running this country than someone like Hillary Clinton.
There's no one who's shown more genius in their way to maneuver around the tax code and to rightfully use the laws to do that. This is a guy who, when lots of businesses went out of business in the early 1990s, he fought and clawed back to build another fortune, to create tens of thousands of more jobs. And this is actually a very, very good story for Donald Trump.
More importantly, what does Bill O'Reilly think? Yes, he's our fabulous special guest today, and he's going to tell us. So, did you hear he's also got a new best-selling book out called Killing the Rise and All the Others Needed Company? Yes. And we're going to talk to him about it a little bit later in the program. But first, let's pick his brain on politics. So what do you think about this story, Trump taxes? Is it something that should resonate? Do you think that it will, for people to say they don't want to vote for this guy because he got a break and lost money and played with the tax code?
Well, there's three tiers. The Trump supporters are still going to support him. That's not going to, erode their support of him. The people who loathe him are going to loathe him more. All right, they're going to say he's a rich fat cat and everything that we don't like. The ones in the middle are interesting. The counterattack is, listen, I took advantage of a legal situation. And then you have to ask yourself, and I have asked myself that question, if I were Trump and I had casinos that were losing $1 billion, would I take the write-off? And the answer is, yes, I would. I would. And I think 95% of business people would take the write-off. What are you going to say? No, I'm not going to take it because my enterprises went south? It doesn't make any sense. So therefore, most Americans are intellectually going to understand what he did was what anybody would do. And remember, he wasn't a politician. He's a businessman now. But he has to sell it now. And it was pretty shrewd what he did in Colorado by saying, hey, look, I know that this isn't right. And if I get elected, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it not this way. Might be able to get away with that. He's got to really sell it hard.
Okay. All right, Bowling, so take us through kind of the tax issue. He said, and they keep emphasizing the talking points, his team and the surrogate, saying what he did was legal, that he took advantage of the tax code as it was written.
Totally legal. I'm not sure it was genius, because it's a tax code. That's what any good accountant will tell you to do. What likely happened was the casinos were probably losing money for years going in to 95. He took the loss in 95. But in the prior years, he didn't take the loss, so he probably showed an income. He paid tax on that. So what do you do with a $900 million loss? You roll it forward like anyone else will do. I'll give you the best example I could possibly find. I did some homework. Warren Buffett, the liberal icon, the hero of the left, including the Clintons, lost $873 million in 2014 in a company called Energy Futures Holding Corp. I would be willing to bet a lot of money that Warren Buffett is using the exact same tax code that Donald Trump has used in 1995 to take that loss, roll the loss forward against profits going forward, or profits in the same year or going forward, because that's what you do as good businessmen.
All right, Dan, let's talk about the messaging here. So you see a bunch of the surrogates going here. You saw Chris Christie, you saw Rudy Giuliani saying, look, this is a guy who wants to make America great again. He knows how to make a comeback. He lost everything and he came back from it.
Well, I think that obviously they were on their game, their conference call, ready to go. I don't know if they knew it was coming, because it was obviously they were all saying the exact same thing. Message discipline, gotta love it. I have to say, though, as a former spokesperson, I think if they had asked me to say that he was a genius, I would have said, go jump in a lake, because I'm not saying that. Because I think that it does have a good point if he believes it. That he wants to change the tax code so that it doesn't benefit people like him. But it's October 3rd, and this is the first time that he's actually making this point.
Can I interrupt, Miss Dana?
Of course.
If she says yes.
And this isn't a pro-Trump statement, because, as you know, I'm neutral on this thing. I'm trying to cover the thing as fairly as I can. Isn't it genius when you're down to the nub and you're losing $916 million? Isn't it genius when you turn it around and then become one of the most wealthy individuals on the face of the earth?
Well, I think you could, and I'm not making an anti-Trump statement by saying what I'm going to say in response to that, which is you can say that, okay, fine, you took advantage of the laws. As Eric says, it might not be genius, it is legal. But as an American, you could say, is this right overall? Maybe on the left, it is almost treasonous to not pay your fair share.
You're talking about Trump now. Would you ascribe him the word genius for turning around a company that was on the verge of extinction?
I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I don't have any money.
I just think that's a provocative question.
Okay. But I am also saying that if you are wanting to run for president of the United States, this is a story that he's known about for all of his adult life. They could have got this out in May.
Yeah,
they wait until October 3rd.
Get it out of the way.
It comes on the day, and the days after he's perceived to have lost the first debate. And the first thing is that, oh, he's a genius. I mean, I just think that the talking point for them could have been a lot better if he had been actually talking about reforming the tax code before October 3rd.
All right, Gregans.
Well, I mean, the bad news is Trump lost his shirt in the 90s. The good news, the shirt was made in China. So we're okay with that. Look, Soros lost.
Look at O'Reilly's face.
Yeah, it's always the same. He's like Mount Rushmore without the charm. All right, George Soros lost $1.5 billion in 6 months. So the fact is, you do not pay taxes on a loss. That's how long the story should last. You do not pay taxes on a loss, whether it's moral or immoral. That's a fact. The thing I find most interesting is that I like Trump's. This is what I find to be genius. Trump wants to change the system to stop people like Trump. He's like the guy. If you want to build a great safe, you hire a safe cracker, right? That's exactly.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the argument that he's using, and someone should have written that line for him.
No, here's the best line that you missed.
What?
He goes, I was working for my company then. No, I'm not. I'm working for you.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So look, I understand the visceral reaction that most people will have on this. And Trump's going to have to really sell it hard Sunday night. Going to have to sell it hard because they're coming at him.
I think
Raddatz is coming in. No, will. Yeah. Raddatz will come at him. Cooper will come at him. Hillary will come at him. He's got 3 coming at him. All right. And they're going to say, look, you're a dunderhead. And he's going to have to be, if he reacts emotionally, he'll lose. He's just going to have to Jack Webb it. You remember Jack Webb, right? Yeah, you knew him, didn't you?
I thought he was like trying to figure out how I got home.
Just the facts.
So what do you think, Juan? Is this something that's it's a big win for Hillary? That's something that might stick?
Well, he's having a terrible week. I mean, just go back a week to the debate. It was a bad showing. Then we had the whole incident with the Miss Universe, right? And he was terrible and tweeting in the middle of the night. And now this, it's been a tough week. And so as a result, you've got Republicans in Washington who were ringing over the weekend who are just in a tizzy over like what is going on with Donald Trump. This guy's off message. Everything that Kellyanne Conway has done, it seems like right now has unraveled. They're hoping she doesn't get blamed, that she doesn't get thrown under the bus. But the campaign itself feels like it's out of control, and he's behaving erratically. This whole idea that he's a genius was so much spin, so ridiculous. I mean, if he's such a genius, as both of my colleagues have said, he would have put this out a long time ago and said, well, this is just a fact. But he's hiding and still hiding, his tax return. But let me finish. So we've got a guy here who've borrowed billions of dollars. Oh, what a brilliant business. That's the premise of his campaign. I'm a brilliant businessman. Let me work for you. He borrowed $3 billion. He then goes and loses almost another $1 billion. We're not even sure it was his money. It could have been creditors' money. He takes advantage of it. He says the military's breaking out, but he's not supporting the military. He's not supporting the cops. He's not supporting the school kids. I think this is terrible.
Supporting the cops.
But he's not. If you're not paying taxes, I'm paying taxes.
This man has not paid taxes.
He does not pay taxes.
Are you going to go so far as to say he doesn't pay taxes or hasn't paid taxes?
I don't know about hasn't for all time.
I will guarantee you he pays the minimum amount of tax that you legally can and possibly should pay, Juan. But that is for you to say he doesn't pay.
You shifted, Eric. A moment ago you said he did the right thing for his creditors, his employees. Yeah. You know what?
He did.
He rebuilt. He's a genius. You know what he did? He relied on money he got from his daddy, and little Richie Rich screwed up and lost daddy's money.
If you take away the ability to write off a business loss, if you take that out of the tax code, you're going to bury small businesses.
That's fine.
In America.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
out of business.
He can do, as you pointed out,
shut the shop.
he's legal. What he did was legal. But I'm saying to you that
what
in
about
political
Greg said?
terms,
You don't pay taxes on a loss.
I think here's the distinction between the candidates.
Warren Buffett.
What Trump was trying to hide was embarrassing but not illegal. He doesn't want to look like a bad businessman, so he hid it because it was embarrassing, not illegal. What Hillary shields is a mishandling of classified information, not necessarily embarrassing, but illegal.
It wasn't illegal.
It is.
No, it's not. FBI. Look, we know that that's not illegal, so let's forget that.
Well, what she did.
She knew it was illegal. She knew she was breaking the law.
The FBI said she didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
It wasn't illegal.
There was no intent.
That was their interpretation, but it is illegal to put out classified information.
My point is he's not a good businessman. And
but that's your opinion.
Oh, it's my opinion. If I lost that much money, if you said, hey, Juan, I want to invest my wealth with you, Bill O'Reilly's money and Juan Williams' hand, and I lost that, you'd be
if you had made it back and you had the Juan jet, then I'd say, hey, look at the Juan jet.
Oh, yeah.
All right? And he learned his lesson, and now he's making money for everybody.
I have a Juan jet, but it's in a hot tub. Hey, can I ask you a question to you, Eric? Is it okay?
That's one hot tub I'd skip.
Billionaires lose money.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a fact. But is it okay? Is it impossible? I mean, with a casino, isn't it hard to lose money with a casino?
No.
Because there were 18 other casinos.
Yeah, and they're down to like 3 now.
Right.
So 15.
And Mo Green was skimming all the money off the top. Didn't you see The Godfather too?
Many times.
Yeah.
This business loss, being able to write that off, is the essence of American business right there. It allows mom and pop to go on the corner and open a bodega, because if they lose, they have to be able to write that off and try again, Juan. If you take that away from American business, we're toast.
Those are also the people, though, that if they have the loss, that's why I think I think he's had the wrong reaction to this. The bodega guy, if they have the loss, they're going to worry for the rest of their lives that if they don't pay their taxes, that the IRS is going to come after them. They don't have the kind of lawyers that he can have and the accountants that will be able to figure it all out for him, so they can take advantage of all the laws. And just a little bit of empathy just wouldn't hurt from him. Instead of saying I'm so brilliant because I did it. No, I followed the law, and I want to make the laws better so that it can't help people like me.
But that's what he said.
No, it'd be helpful if his plan actually did that, but it doesn't. It helps commercial real estate guys. If you really wanted it to help them, it would be something that would actually take more money from rich people and put it into the coffers. Maybe we don't think that's a good idea, but that would be a better message at this point.
This is a really good A block. Was it because he was here?
Yes.
I think it was.
Yes, it was. Of course it was.
All right, you just supersized the 5. All right, stay right there, if you could, please, because when we come back, we're going to talk to Bill again about the newest installment in his Killing series, Killing the Rising Sun, and also we're going to get his reaction to a new audio tape released of Hillary Clinton saying some things many young voters in America might not be happy about. Stay with us next.
All right, we're back now with Bill O'Reilly, host of The Factor and author of Killing the Rising Sun. But before we get to his book, Hillary Clinton's team just can't help itself taking more deplorable shots at Trump's supporters.
I think a lot of the people that stand by Donald Trump are deplorable, and the things that they say are deplorable.
Meanwhile, supporters of Bernie Sanders that Clinton is now trying to win over might find this deplorable. Listen to this newly leaked audio of the secretary at a fundraiser in February.
They're children of the Great Recession, and they are living in their parents' basement. If you're feeling that you're consigned to, being a barista or, some other job that doesn't pay a lot and doesn't have much of a ladder of opportunity attached to it, then the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be part of a political revolution is pretty appealing.
After hearing that, Trump tweeted Bernie should pull his endorsement of crooked Hillary after she deceived him and then attacked him and his supporters. So now, Bill, is this a big deal?
No. And she's absolutely right.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's right. I mean, if you're a college-educated younger person and you can't get a good job, then you want to overthrow the system, right? And come to your house and take your furniture.
Yeah, they're making hay out of the basement.
Yeah, I didn't see any hay there, Bowling, but I'll tell you what she said was absolutely 100% true.
I'm tired of people going after people in the basement. I've lived in basements almost all my life. They're not bad, but I agree. It was a realistic assessment
that's what it
of
is.
the current state of malaise among young people who are stuck on a rung and they can't get up. I didn't find it insulting. I thought it was thoughtful.
And it's a record number. There's a record number of millennials are actually living. It started to go down recently, but a record number of millennials have gone back to live with their parents. But I think what Trump could have done there is to say the reason that they're in that position is because of the Obama economy. I alone can fix it.
Good. That's good.
Tie it in.
KG.
Yeah, I think. Look,
any hay there?
He can't. Hey, he had to go after it, right? He's going to try and make something of it. We've got this secret recording, and therefore, it's an aggressive call. I don't mind saying, hey, drop crooked Hillary, come with my team because we've got more in common, and I want to help you make something of your life. What?
Is Miss Machado living in her parents' basement? I don't know.
I wouldn't say that.
No. Okay. It would be wrong to draw her into that. Wouldn't it be wrong to do that?
I think
that would be
we
wrong.
just got rid over that story, so you might want to leave it alone.
Nothing to see.
But what if she is?
We don't know where she is right now.
Okay,
we don't know where she is. She could be there.
And you're right.
The biggest testimonial here is Bernie Sanders. He said she was absolutely right.
Yeah.
And said that, you know what? The problem here is young people have legitimately had their dreams thwarted by this economy, and they're struggling. And for her to just call it straight, I don't see. Guess what? Here comes Donald Trump, desperate, nails on the chalkboard. Please, Hillary did something wrong. Hillary didn't do anything wrong.
But Juan, what if Romney had said this, McCain had said this, or Trump had said this? We're actually being really diplomatic and nice and sensible.
We're being honest.
Yes, but the reverse of us, a show like this on MSNBC, and if it were McCain or Trump or Romney, they would destroy them. But we actually happen to be
But we don't want to get down to that level. But the point, what we're all missing is that all millennials who are having trouble should live in Bernie Sanders' basement.
Or his new home.
And he has
three basements
now. Yeah, he has 3 basements.
Can we turn the topic a little bit to your new book, Killing the Rising Sun? Bill O'Reilly, I heard. Yeah. Well, Bertie told me 400. How many sold so far?
Was that Bertie in the hay?
Yeah.
Okay. We have done extraordinarily well the first 3 weeks out, and we really appreciate you guys.
And you're number one on all
the lists.
Every list.
But now Bruce Springsteen's book. Bruce did something really clever. If you buy Springsteen's book, and I'm giving him a plug now, you get his album too.
Yeah, but you know what? The book actually costs more without the album.
But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut another album, and I'm going to put it in Killing the Rising Sun. All right, to compete.
Covers of Herman's
Hermits. Take it around, but I found it very interesting that you polled all the 5 living presidents and asked them would they have made the same decision regarding Hiroshima that was made, and you heard from whom and what they said.
When we write the killing books, we try to do stuff that's not been done before. All right, and so the information that you read in the book, you haven't seen most of it anywhere. So I wrote letters, personal letters, to the 5 living presidents. And would you have supported Truman? What would you have done? All right. 3 of them reported back. Miss Dana's former boss, Bush the younger, Bush the elder, who still is very, on it, on the thinking process, and Jimmy Carter. And they all agreed that they would have dropped the atom bomb. Now, Obama did not. President Obama did not. Wouldn't do it. And I believe.
Respond or wouldn't drop? Wouldn't respond.
He didn't respond. And I believe, speculation only, could be wrong, that he would not have dropped the bomb. Would not have done it. Bill Clinton didn't respond because I don't think he wanted to get drawn into any controversy with his wife running for president.
Probably smart.
But we posted the 3 letters in the book, as well as in a letter in my collection of Harry Truman saying why he fired MacArthur. Ultimately, which is a fascinating letter too. So Killing the Rising Sun has done a great, and I think people would enjoy it.
Can I ask you something about it? I wondered if you could talk a little bit about what you think was the transformative issue that allowed, so Bush 43, the younger, and Koizumi, who was the Prime Minister of Japan on 9/11, that was the first phone call that 43 got, was from Koizumi. So how is it that the fathers of those two men who fought against each other in World War II ends up in a pretty short period of time historically end up actually being allies in the war on terror?
Because the United States treated Japan after the war with kindness. We didn't brutalize them. We could have. All right. We even allowed Hirohito to keep the emperor status, although he was no longer referred to as a god. All right. My father was in the occupation, and I know firsthand that the U.S. troops, despite taking horrendous casualties, and we show you that in Rising Sun. I mean, Japanese didn't take many prisoners, and the ones they did, they brutalized. It was slave labor, but they would behead people in front of the other Americans and British. So the vengeance that the United States could have wreaked on Japan never happened.
Right.
We came in, we occupied the country, we rebuilt the country, Colin Kaepernick. We rebuilt it with our money so that Japan now is a very affluent nation, a free nation, and have benefited from our largesse, even though we had the perfect right to go in there and brutalize them, but we did not.
We exercise restraint and generosity.
And that's why America is such a noble nation. That is why I write these books.
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah, sure. So I'm fascinated by Robert Oppenheimer, who developed the bomb.
Crazy guy.
Tell me.
I went to Los Alamos and when we were researching the book, and it's a little town outside of Santa Fe, and Oppenheimer and all these crazy physicists were there. Okay, Oppenheimer, 5 packs of cigarettes a day, always smoking, never showered. You can imagine. You can imagine this guy. But he was an idol. They idolized him.
Right.
And he was obsessed with developing the A-bomb because Hitler was trying to do the same thing. And he wanted to get it before the Germans, and he wanted to drop it on Berlin. Oppenheimer was going, he was furious that they didn't get it in time to drop it on the Fuhrer in Berlin.
Wow.
Okay? So this guy Oppenheimer, crazy guy, but brilliant. All right, and he takes Einstein's theory and he makes a bomb. But this is the rub in Killing the Rising Sun. They test the bomb in New Mexico, right? In the desert. Don't tell anybody. There's no media, no cable, none of that. And then radio stations are going, I think there was an earthquake, you know, because nobody knew. But everything was rattling because this was an above ground nuclear test, all right? So all of that we have in the book in very micro detail. And Oppenheimer was a ladies' man, all right? I mean, all the ladies.
5 packs a day.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Could he smoke? Was he smoking while he's playing with the bomb?
The only guy that smoked more than Oppenheimer was Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower, like 6 packs a day.
Yeah, well.
I mean, but these are the little details we have and makes the book.
And you can read all of that and more in the book. Thank you, Bill. It's great having you back. Make sure you pick up a copy of Killing the Rising Sun and watch Bill tonight on The Factor at 8 p.m. Eastern. Up next here. You know who sounded a lot like Trump back in the 1990s? Bill Clinton. Greg has that interesting flashback tape just ahead.
Your loss, not my loss.
Steven Seagal.
If there's anything we've learned this year, it's that wanting a border makes you a racist. I mean, who goes off on illegal aliens, promises banning welfare for the same, and then mentions deportation? What kind of monster is Trump?
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
I'm sorry, that wasn't Trump, not at all. Fact is, that footage reveals that since then, the goalposts on immigration have moved so far to the left, they're outside the stadium. Worse, since Bill Clinton said all that, times have changed. 9/11, anyone? Today is not yesterday. Liberals love progress. But if you're really a fan of progress, a fan of evolution, a fan of science, then you have to see the world for what it's become now and apply that reality to action. Just like lizards, toads, and finches, terrorism has evolved. 2016 is not 1916 or even 1996, as an ideological virus infects millions who wish to take all of us kicking and screaming to the afterlife. It means that the words of an old Democrat are truer now than ever. They're just applied to the wrong object. It's not about our neighbors to the south. It concerns a spreading belief that rejects persuasion and preaches apocalyptic violence. In this new era, where one person can kill hundreds of thousands of people with technology increasingly available to all of us, we see that this is not about Mexico at all. It's about martyrdom. To survive, we must be sober about our security. So when it comes to a porous border and its consequences, Bill Clinton was damn close, but no cigar.
God, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You saw?
A cigar.
You know what? Did he say, hey, producers, did he say work face?
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace.
Oh, gosh.
You don't want illegal aliens in the work face, Kimberly.
I don't know. I'm recovering from the last comment. I mean, but this was clever, right? But why isn't this being used and utilized in the right way to say, look at the comparison here? I mean, again, he's not running against Bill, but kind of, because it's a twofer.
Yeah.
You know, with Hillary and Bill, two for the price of one, but they'll make you pay 3 times higher the price for it, right? That's the Clinton way. So these are good opportunities to be able to show a juxtaposition and say, okay, this is who built that. You know, Bill Clinton, look at his policies. Do you want more of the same of Bill Clinton, more of the same of Barack Obama, more of the same of Hillary Clinton, who's had 30 years to be able to come forward with good ideas to move the country and the economy forward and to have good ideas about immigration?
You know, Dana, when you listen to him, he sounds like a Republican. Well, he's to the right of Republicans.
Well, at the time, it was a conservative Democrat, right?
Right.
So one of the things that Hillary Clinton said over the weekend, there was a recording or something where she said that there's really no center left and that maybe she will actually have to figure out how to occupy the center. But that, for her, is a danger because politically, the left, the worry they have about her is that she's not really as liberal as she says she is.
Right.
They think she's more like Bill Clinton, whereas she would say, no, I'm not like that. And she's trying to distance herself from him and from Obama and trying to be her own person. And she's in a little bit of a trap.
Eric, you know, when I listened to Bill Clinton, I think I counted 17 microaggressions.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Things have changed. What has also changed, the stance on the Clintons, I'll lump them together if I may, on immigration. You pointed that out. It's also the criminal justice reform. They've really evolved on that one as well.
Super
and
predators.
Wall Street, whereas they were used to be strong on immigration, super strong on crime, and soft on Wall Street. Apparently, they've flipped both of those. They're soft on immigration now, soft on crime reform, and strong on Wall Street, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, Juan, your party has changed. For the better or for the worse? You have 10 seconds.
I think it's better, and I think times have changed. Obviously, first of all, let me just tell you, he's not calling immigrants rapists and murderers. He's not involved in that kind of language, which is the source.
At least not in public.
Yeah, we don't know what he's doing in private.
He said, what are they talking about at the breakfast table?
You know what to me is interesting is the historical view, which is you go back and you look at Ronald Reagan passing immigration reform in the 80s. Then you get up to the point and you have a growing American economy. You have an influx of immigrants coming across the southern border, if that's the focus.
Yeah.
You also have people overstaying visas, but let's just focus on the southern border. People coming for work, typically hard-collar blue work, and he says, in some cases, putting people out of work. We're in a point today where that's not the case. One is, I don't know exactly, I mean, the farmers in America are saying we need more people. We need people to do these jobs. The factory people who run factories. And also, we do not have an influx of immigrants at the moment across the southern borders. We have an out-migration because the economy isn't what it used to be.
Yeah. Works in just 3 minutes, killing 99.99% of odor-causing...
My microphone is broken.
Saturday Night Live returned just in time this weekend to provide comic relief on the first presidential debate. Alec Baldwin's debut as Trump helped the show achieve its highest premiere rating since 2008 when Tina Fey debuted her legendary Palin impersonation. Here's a little more from SNL's season opener.
This man is clearly unfit to be commander-in-chief.
Wrong.
He is a bully.
Shut up.
He started the birther movement.
You did.
He hasn't released his tax returns, which means he's either not that rich,
Wrong.
not that charitable,
Wrong.
or he's never paid taxes in his life.
Warmer.
Well, this has been an illuminating debate, but now it's time for our final...
Alicia Machado.
I'm sorry, what was that? Who is Alicia Machado?
Thank you for bringing that up, Lester.
Where'd you find this?
And Donald Trump called her Miss Piggy.
No, how do you know this?
And Miss Housekeeping.
That's pretty funny.
KG, you stayed up. Did you love it?
Yes, I was excited to watch it because I heard, oh, okay, it's going to be... And I thought that Alec Baldwin was going to do a very good job, you know, because he's funny, he's talented, he knows that show inside out, and knows Trump. So I thought he did a great job. I thought Kate McKinnon was good as well. And they really kind of, like, pushed a few things. And I like the Family Feud one that they did.
Oh, that was funny.
I know, and why aren't we on Family
I know, I thought
Feud?
of the same thing.
Why?
Big numbers, Eric. You watching those?
Yeah, like awesome cold open. I loved it. I think Alec Baldwin was the best Trump of any of them so far. I liked Daryl Hammond last season, but I think Alec Baldwin just nailed all the idiosyncrasies of Trump, the facial movements and whatnot. Fantastic. But I was happy to see they just kept it above. I don't think they dug deep into the politics of it. They just went into the visceral level, made fun of both of them, appearances, some of the commentary, whatnot. I didn't find it overly political, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Great comedic timing.
You didn't love it.
Well, okay. Michael Che as Lester Holt was great. Yeah. We can't forget that. But in my opinion, a balance of time isn't the same as a balance in treatment. When you watch this, Donald Trump played a character, and she played a conduit for the audience watching the character. So she just would sit there and laugh at what he was doing. She was actually acting as like the chorus in a Shakespearean play. Like, look at this character. Isn't he ridiculous? I'm going to win. So even though there was a balance in time, there wasn't a balance in treatment. And they have to be careful, because this is how the new right starts. The more you ridicule only one direction, you create the pendulum swings. And that's what you're seeing right now is a response to 30 or 40 years of ridicule of the right.
But you know,
it wasn't that bad.
But in parody, you highlight the obvious, right? You exaggerate the obvious, and they kind of
they did it for Trump, but I don't think they did it for her.
Not
what do you
funny
think,
or
Juan?
interesting,
Well,
except for the somersault.
I just thought it was lacking in political satire. I thought the makeup looked good, but I thought it was all sort of, you know, sort of bawdy, direct. Yeah, I didn't think it was that great. I mean, I like Family Feud part, by the way. I thought that was pretty funny with the guy. I forget the actor's name, who came out as Putin and then took his shirt off and all that. I thought that was pretty
awesome.
But I mean, you think about the reality of the campaign. To me, it's just so ripe for satire. I mean, today, was it today or whatever, when Trump is saying, I don't know if Hillary Clinton's faithful to her husband?
Oh, that was Saturday night.
Was Saturday night?
Before
Whatever.
Saturday Night Live.
This is just real. I mean, you don't have to make this stuff up, man. He's mocking her stumble. He's pretending like he's stumbling like Hillary Clinton.
No, what about the Family Feud where Bill Clinton was trying to pick up on Ivanka?
Pretty good.
All right, Donald Trump just held a rally out in Colorado and addressed the new storm over his taxes. We're going to play you more sound from that, so please stay tuned.
It's different for girls when they're hot. People make the mistake of underestimating me. That's when they are really in for their biggest surprise. I knew that I would make a comeback without question. I had never had a doubt in my mind. And again, I don't know. I don't even think of it as a comeback. It was just like, you know, we had tough periods, good periods, tough periods. We just knew that things were going to be just fine. But that is why I'm here today.
That was Donald Trump a short while ago addressing the new controversy over his taxes. A New York Times report revealed this weekend that he may not have paid federal income taxes for nearly 2 decades. Trump's now trying to use the story to tout business acumen. Is that credible, Kimbra?
Well, look, he's got to spin the story. Why not? Say, look, I'm a guy who, you know, made $1 billion, lost money, and found a way to make it back again. It kind of goes hand in hand with his Make America Great Again theme. Like, I'm a guy who knows how to get things done. I know the tax laws and business and how it works inside out. So now I'm not working for myself. I'm working for you, the American people. I mean, it's the right messaging, but then take it a step further, like what Dana said, that how he could spin
Eric,
it
how's it
better.
play with a working man in America that sees Trump maybe as, you know, the great disruptor? Is this, you know, a guy who didn't pay his taxes?
Listen, I think I've go on the counteroffensive and say, New York Times, I'm going to sue you and sue whoever leaked that information to you, because that's illegal.
Well, he suggested
as far as I understand, you're not allowed to take someone's private tax returns and then share it. And I think I saw Judge Napolitano, I could be wrong, but I thought the judge said, if you knowingly do this, as New York Times did, and publish it, you could be on the hook too. I'd go right at him.
But wait, you're okay with Assange and all those other guys leaking private stuff?
Well, no, but
I don't get it.
It's the point about printing it. And
what, you don't think those people print Assange stuff or anything from what's his face, Snowden, the big hero?
Listen, I don't know. I don't know
either. I think it's hypocritical. I'm against all leaking, to pee on the record, as you know.
To pee.
Why I wear an adult diaper.
Yeah, did you just say to pee on the record?
To pee on the record. It's my new show.
Where does this story go?
Well, I think that tomorrow night in the vice presidential debate, Mike Pence will have to answer for it, and Tim Kaine will be on the offensive for it, and neither of them are actually personally responsible for those taxes. I do think Megan McArdle of Bloomberg has just written a piece about how this is good tax policy at work. There's that school of thought. There's also the thought that you need risk takers in America. Okay, you need people who are going to be willing to go out there and try to start a business. That's what he did. He took advantage, or used the laws appropriately, legally. I do think, however, that because he had, for example, tweeted a couple of years ago that only half of America pays income taxes, and that's not right, that's not fair, and it's like, well, okay, but if you're one of them, he gets himself caught up a little bit in his previous positions.
I also got to say this: the language of the story is odd. They keep framing it as he could have avoided taxes for nearly 2 decades. They don't have anything. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Tax expert to guesstimate.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's a bogus story.
I think, Dana, he's going to have to put out something more now. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure.
Unless they already have something.
Should have just done it in May. Get it over.
One more thing coming next.
This is really hard. Time for one more thing. One.
All right, baseball season, the regular season, ended this weekend, and we had some touching farewell moments. Former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalynn, an appearance at the Atlanta Braves Kiss Cam yesterday during the last game at Turner Field. Next up, legendary sign-off from, guess what, 67 years in the booth, 9,000 games, Hall of Fame announcer Vin Scully saying goodbye. Here he is.
You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say.
Aw, that's very nice.
Great.
Dana.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago on Facebook Friday, we were asked what inanimate object did you have as a child that you would like to have now, and I said my illustrated children's Bible. So Tony DeLuca, who is a New York City train dispatcher, he works nights, watched that show, and he sent me his family's Bible. This was his children's Bible as a kid. He used it to teach his children, and he sent it because he said he wants me to have it as a gift from his family to me.
God bless
I thought that was so kind, and thank you so much, Tony.
He is my new favorite person.
Isn't that neat?
That's amazing. Greg, very
The future. All right, this is a bit freaky. Toyota has a talking robot to keep you company. Check it out. While you're driving, this little guy will be next to you and he'll help make your life richer as you're driving. In the reality, he's just going to get to know you, and then at the end, he's going to suck the life out of you as they take over the universe. This is the first step in robot dominance. Adorable robots.
Can you go
Trust
in the
me.
carpool lane with that? Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, that's it?
Let's
I
go.
was waiting for some video. All right, so very quick. You know what? Should we do this?
Yeah,
Sure,
well, why
yeah.
not?
All right, very quickly. The last, since the last, I guess, 30 years or so, the person who won the first debate, and this is according to Gallup numbers, Gallup polling, Romney, Obama, Kerry, Gore, Bill Clinton, Perot, Dukakis, and Mondale. 75% of the time, if you win the first debate, you are not elected president.
True. We did that on the podcast show.
All right. And another hard-breaking news. Kardashians. So did anybody hear about this? That Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint by men dressed as police officers. We don't know where her bodyguard was. Some people say